For the structures of capillaries, though, right? The capillaries really only have one layer, right? And that is an endothelial layer, right? Which is the tunica intima only. And it has a basement membrane, right? So it has a membrane around it, right? To enclose the tunica media. Well, the tunica, sorry, intima into something, right? So we can't just have the cells like that. So there's a basement membrane around it. Now, note the important stuff here. Right, this is a continuous one. Right, there are other ones, other types like the sigmoid ones and the fenestrated ones. Right, but we're just looking at generally what the regular continuous capillary will look like. Right, so it's just one layer, and this really speaks to the function of the capillaries. Really, right? What really happens in the capillaries, right, is gaseous exchange. So if it's one cell thick, notice that it's one cell thick, right? It will have intercellular clefts, right? And these intercellular clefts are usually where places like cells like the macrophages and the erythrocytes and nucleophils and NK cells and stuff like that would actually squeeze through, right? So to deliver oxygen and call it carbon dioxide and stuff like that, right? So they other cells or other tinier cells can actually squeeze through intercellular clefts to get to other cells around the body. So remember that capillaries usually form capillary beds, right? And this is where the gaseous exchange really takes place within the body, right? And capillaries also exist around the alveoli in the lungs, as we should remember, all right? So capillaries usually form the type of capillary beds that we know, right? So we should know what a capillary bed is. So it's just an interconnecting network of capillaries. So if we're supposed to look at a capillary bed, hold on, there, the capillary bed. Give me a moment. All right, so the capillary bed. If we're supposed to look at a capillary bed, right, we know that the capillary bed is sandwiched in between two large vessels, right? So we have the capillary bed, right, and then the capillary bed on both sides, right, would have venules, which are actually smaller venules, and then on this side, I'm just drawing a little diagram to show like, right, what the capillaries really do, the function of the capillaries, right, and how blood flows through them. Here you'd have arterioles, right? So you're gonna have your arterioles, and then you have your arteries, right? And then you'd have your veins, right? So you're gonna have your arteries and your veins. So blood flows in this direction, right? So blood generally flows from arteries to arterioles, from arterioles to capillaries, right? And then this is where exchange happens, right? And then from capillary beds to venules, then from venules to veins, right? So that's generally how the blood flows. So the capillary is there to serve, right, as a linking point. So if you can think of the arteries and the veins as two different highways, right, the arterioles would and the venules would be main roads, really, branching off of those highways, and then the capillary would be the cellular neighborhood in a type of way, right? So all the nutrients are coming from the arteries generally, right? Going into branching off into arterioles, then going into capillary beds, where then now deliveries of oxygen are made, right? And pickups of carbon dioxide is made. And then this now, right, will have the blood cells moving into venules, right? And then the venules actually meet back up into larger veins, right? So that's what we'll have there.